Want to see something cool? You know, because we got to get the proper angle of the dangle on the seats and the switches.
Jump in this thing and see what it'll do.
Ready to rock this, bro?
Oh, hell yeah.
Woke up this morning, put on my slippers, walked in the kitchen and died. And oh, what a feeling when my soul went through the ceiling and on up into heaven I did ride. When I got there, they did say, John, it happened this way. You slipped upon the floor and hit your head. And all the angels say, just before you passed away, these were the very last.
What's up, everybody? Yes, it's more of the Daytona build. It's actually kind of a crappy day. It's a windy day. I can't really do a whole lot of welding in the wind, but what I can do is make progress on other things. So, part 3 of this whole series on my Daytona build, which is what you are in right now, if you didn't know this, is we are going to start doing bam, the tin work. Yes, I want the Daytona rear plug-in. So we're going to modify the car to put the Daytona plug-in. We got to shorten the trunk lid. We got to make wheel wells, because we're not allowed to race with open wheel wells, you know, in case something comes flying through there and bong right into the back of my head. And then we got to fill in all these holes here. We got to start doing fender work. I might even start making the nose. No, I think I'm going to save the nose, the wing for last. Because last resort, if I can't get the car, if I need to race the car and I'm not quite done yet, I can race the car not as a Daytona, but at least as a 500. Another plan of mine right now is, I kind of wanted to get this out of the way because I was thinking about it, is so the steering column. Now it does have these cool fancy adjustable brackets, so I can adjust it up and down and it will telescope, you know, on the clamp right there. But I was looking at it and I was like, you know, my butt is going to be right there and the steering wheel is going to be too far forward. You know, I usually typically like the steering wheel, you know, kind of in my lap. So that way, as you're racing, you don't have to use, your arms aren't extended as much, and so you have more leverage up close, and you have more stability of the steering wheel. Plus, it doesn't wear you out as fast. To lengthen that all the way out, I mean, that column is going to be super freaking long, and it might be all dangly and wobbly, so I'm making an extension. Plus, this clamp right here is made for 1 3/4, and I put an 1.5-inch dash bar, so I can put these guys. Let me try and lay this out for you. You can kind of get my drift here. There you go. See, that'll be my column extension. Oh wait, here we go. So this guy will just go like that. And then that will be my extension. And it will be more stablers. That's the plan. So I'm going to weld that up, get that in there. I figure that's inside the car, so there's not as much gusty wind going on inside the car. So I'll weld that up, get my steering column bolted to that, and then I'll get back to trimming out this guy.
Please don't bury me down in the cocoa ground. No, I'm gonna have them cut me up, pass me all around. Throw my brain in a hurricane, and the blind can have my eyes. Deaf can take both of my ears if they don't mind the sound. Give my stomach to Milwaukee if they run out of beer. Put my socks in a cedar box, just get 'em out of here. Venus de Milo can have my arms, look out, I've got your nose. Sell my heart to the junk man and give my love to Rose. please don't bury me down in that cold ground. No, I'm gonna have 'em cut me up.
More better.
All around. Throw my brain in a hurricane and the blinds have my eyes.
Well, that turned out good. It put it right in my lap and I don't have to extend the steering column. So it's more stable, less flimsy. But it's kind of not a whole lot of production day, but it's been a good day, a really good day. And the reason why is I got so a guy commented on the post I did on my Facebook, just showing a picture of the car in progress. And the only thing this comment said was, "That's my Charger, I'm not dead." And I'm like, what? And so I sent the guy a personal message saying, "So this used to be your car?" And he says, "Yeah." He responds back, "Yep, that's my car." It's like, I stopped building this car in 1981. So this car has been sitting since 1981. Longer than I thought. 43 freaking years this car has been sitting. And I'll get more in depth on this guy. I mean, I was on the phone with him for a long time. Really cool guy. Turns out he still has the original drivetrain out of this car. He still has the original steering column. He still has the fender tag and some parts. He's got doors and hood. He was racing. I mean, his buddies raced Chargers. They were Mopar circle track guys back in the late 70s, early 80s. And well, I know you guys are going to be wanting to know why the car was parked. Well, there was a death in the family and he pushed the car out back and it sat there since 1981. But it was really cool. I got to talk to the guy and I'm going to go meet him. I'm going to go get these parts from him, all the original stuff from this car. And he's got more parts. He's got cool Mopars. Just a cool old Mopar guy. And can't wait to meet the guy in person and just hear all the stories. And we're going to interview him and you guys are going to hear all those stories too. So yeah, I was on the phone with the guy for a long time. Plus I had family show up in town. But I think that's going to be it for today because I got to go package things up, mail things, and save this for tomorrow. Man, it is cold today. It's Thanksgiving. I figure I'll get a little bit of hours in on this thing before I stuff my face and then don't want to do anything. So I'm thinking I'm going to make some progress on the rear window plug. And I'm just going to go ahead and cut this whole thing out. But before I do that, I kind of want to run a brace from here to here, and from here to here. And then I'll end up running more braces, but all I got for now is just this piece of scrap. And so this is what I'm going to use and then start making the plug fit. I'm just trying to use what I got. I don't really feel like going anywhere right now. Plus everything is closed. Now our Daytona plug is going to fill this whole hole. Now originally Daytonas were actually built kind of crude. Like the streetcar versions, they're pretty crude. They only passed them through just to make it in NASCAR. Like the original Daytonas, they still had the entire rear window filler panel. They still had the entire sail panel. Basically the original window setup that was here, the recessed, was still there. They just put a plug over it. So that's extra weight. Do not need that. And the NASCAR teams didn't do that either. They cut all that crap out and they just put the skins of the Daytona plug in there, which is what we're going to do right now. We're going to go skin that Vega plug, that Daytona plug. See, now I've done this before. All you really need on this guy is just, I mean, it gets cut right up to the edge of that window channel. But we're going to leave it a little bit big right now. And then on the top, You know, I could leave more of this meat up here, but if we're gonna have to make a filler panel, we might as well just make a filler panel. And then down here, we don't need all of that. I actually left this a little bit long because I might end up folding that down into a new window channel that I gotta make. Or not a window channel, but a trunk gutter that I'm gonna have to make. So, gonna go ahead and get all this cut out and get it skinned, and then shove it up in there to see how much we have to trim to make it fit. Daytona. Yep, and this is just a Vega plug, but see how well it fits in here? I mean, so you cut all the excess metal off to where it's just the flange, the recess of the window, and shove it up until it basically stops. And then you have to make a sheet metal filler here. And I left it long in the back because I think I'm just gonna put a bend in it and make this the flange that will start into the trunk gutter. I got to do a little bit of shrinking. So you know, see how it buckles right there when I push this down? Well, so I'm gonna do a little bit of shrinking there, and I think it's more exaggerated on this side. Push it down, yeah, see it starts to get a little buckle right there. So we gotta do a little bit of shrinking on this thing to get it to conform to the Charger rear window area better, but it will fit. I'm just gonna go ahead right now and kind of mark the area that needs to be shrunk. I think we're just gonna do this whole side right here. And then we're gonna start into the flange here. And I do like that it flattens out here, because the more air that gets trapped right here, the more downforce you get. Of course, we're not doing 200 miles an hour, but I can dream. See, I had to clean the paint off where I'm going to be shrinking, so that way the jaws can bite into the metal and squish it together. Here's my squisher. See, the jaws will shrink the metal together. So it does that by force. So I'm going to take off. It's actually so I got this from the SEMA show several years ago. Woodward Fab Shrinker. It works pretty good. You know, I'm happy with it. See, this thing is mucho lighter now once you take all the guts out of it. This thing probably only weighs like, 6 pounds maybe. There, see how that almost lays flat all on its own now? Just need to do a little bit more shrinking in here, and then see it doesn't pop up no more. So just a little bit more work, on both sides, probably just like a couple minutes. And well, this is being held up by this right here, but that, if we push that down right there, see, that doesn't pop up no more either. It just needs a little bit more in here. So I did a blue line where I need to do more versus the original black line. So I'm gonna go shrink that again and lay it back on there.
Did I mean to treat you bad? But I did it anyway. And then maybe some would say your life was sad, yeah, but you lived it anyway. And so maybe your friends that stand around you watch you crumble as you fall to the ground. And then someday your friends that stand beside as you were flying. Oh, you were flying all so high. But then someday people look at you, the world they call around, they watch you suffer. Yeah, here you come home. And then someday we can take our time. Destiny's aside so you can reach us. Hey, but you left me far behind. Now, did I mean to treat you so bad? But I did it anyway. Now listen to me, some would say you're left with what you had, but you couldn't tear the page down and out. Couldn't share the pain while she suffered. Now maybe I could have made my own mistakes, but I live apart alone. And then maybe we might share in something great. Won't you look at where we've gone? Won't you look at where we've gone? And someday comes tomorrow holds sense of what I feel for you in my mind. As you trip the fire line, and that cold day when you lost control. Shame you left my life so soon. You should have told me. Hey, but you left me far behind. Now did I mean to treat you so bad? Oh, but I did anyway. Now some would say you left with what you had. Oh, but you couldn't tear the pain. No.
Check it out. Daytona conversion almost done. And almost as in, I just need to make a filler panel here, but that's a quick thing. I just make a cardboard or a poster board template so I can make a filler panel and then weld it in place. Also, I cut that piece of metal strap off that used to be on the roof right there, because that was 1/8 inch plate and the roof doesn't need to be removable anymore. So I just went ahead and welded that seam up where Virgil, the guy that was originally building the car, had cut it before. But yep, it's all welded in and it is rigid, man. All that additional bracing that we put on, well, I put on there, this thing ain't going nowheres. And now, of course, there's a big hole here. We need to fill that hole. and we're gonna fill it with a trunk. We're gonna fill it with a trunk lid. I just realized what I said. Here is the trunk lid. Now this is the trunk lid that was on the car. You can see he had skinned it. There is nothing there. All the inner structure is removed. And what I think we're gonna do is we're just gonna lay it in place where it needs to go, and then just draw a line where it needs to get cut. And then we'll just take it over to my sheet metal brake, bend a seam on it, weld the seam up, and then trunk lid's done. It's pretty simple on the trunk lid. I'm gonna go ahead and tackle that right now. Good thing that original hood pin was here, because now I can just use that as a centering pin. And we're just going to make sure it's lined up good. And then where it meets on the bottom of the Vega plug, we're just gonna go ahead and draw a line. And then we'll go like an additional ½ inch or so, and that'll be our fold. Ah. My dumbass bent the wrong freaking line. So I had to hammer the thing in back out straight. And hope it doesn't look too bad. But if you look at it, you'll definitely see where I done foobarred up. I hope I bent this in the right spot, because there's no undoing it. Winning! It fits good. Even the sides are good. Check it out. Look at that. And I don't even have any bumpers under this thing yet. So once I get some little bumpers, or actually, I still got to put my hinges on here. Oh man, I got to put two hood pins in the back, or trunk pins, whatever you want to call it. But dude, that came out great. Now I just need to make this piece. Oh. You are now in the back of the Daytona, which I can almost call it a Daytona now. So the original Daytonas, they still had all of the recessed back glass metal, the rear window filler panel, the sail panels, everything. Well, we did cut out all that, and the only support I have back here is a 1/2 inch square stock that is spot welded to the back of the flange on my trunk gutter that I made on the back of the Vega plug. And then we have, you know, bracings, so that way the quarter panels are now braced. This is braced, and hell, you could stand on top of this thing and it ain't going nowhere. So if I wanted to do 200 miles per hour, that Vega plug will hold it. And I'm even gonna have some more bracing, so it's gonna go from here to here, just to reinforce this part so it's not so flimsy. Might even go, actually, you know what? I think I'll just go from bam, bam, and then bam to bam. Yeah, I'll get the whole V going. So triangulation is stronger. Well, that is the end of today. Hopefully tomorrow I can finish well, I know I'll be able to finish this. That's no big deal. And then hopefully I can get my hinges done. I've got some cool NASCAR hinge setups I'm going to use too, so looking forward to that. And then maybe I can start doing my wheel wells and maybe some bracing for the roof on the front. And maybe a brace for the center of the roof, so if I win, I can stand on top of the car. Worth a shot, right? Some of you may recognize this poster board. This is what I use to map out the roll center on a Mopar. And well, now that I already know the roll center and know what it does, I can just use this as my template instead of having to go somewhere and buy more poster board. Want to see something cool? Isn't that cool? Old NASCAR parts. I think this is an old hood hinge from like your late teens cup cars. But now it's Daytona trunk lid support. Or holder upper doohickey, whatever you want to call it.
Come down, slow papa. There ain't no way out. Upside head down, blacked out and hit the ground. Then they found him cold dead, hit a whole town blood red. Raised a bull on a snake chain. At the age of 12, I went astray.
Just a wee bit of English wheel time made it conform to the roof and the rear window plug like that.
They're bought and sold men, all the guys to hear now. One shot to black it out. Raise the bull on the snake chain. At the age of 12, I will stay. One step to the holy chair, then a hall to the garden stair. Tie 'em up and I'm on the chair, in and out the door here. Raise the bull on the snake chain. Yeah, today they say I'm gonna hang.
The rear window plug is officially welded in. All I gotta do is grind all the welds down. I didn't want to whip out the grinder until all the welds were done, so that way I just gotta sweep up everywhere one time. Oh, that was a lot of welding. It's like zap, space, zap, space, zap, space. It takes forever to do stuff like that. Since the window plug is done, I'm thinking I'm gonna tackle that there battery box. Or actually, you know what? I can tackle that them there dash, because I've already got the sheet metal laying in place to do that. It's a little dusty. We'll wipe her down, take some measurements, and cut that sucker out. Or yeah, I may just cut the hole for the battery box now, so that way the noisy part is out of the way, so I don't have to make any more noise the later it gets. The neighbors are already tolerant of me. You don't want to upset them. Pow! And just like that, it's light outside. I didn't get a whole lot done last night. Actually, really not a whole lot of anything. Cleaned up a little bit, and after a couple frosty beverages, I'm like, you know what? I'll just come out here early and start doing things. And so that's what I is doing. I am out here early, and I'm gonna start cutting out my dash. I took some measurements, and that elongated rectangle will soon become like a wannabe Nichols dash. And if you don't know what a Nichols dash is, that is the guy that was building the chassis for the NASCAR teams back in 67, 68, 69, and I think 70. I think 70 was the year that Petty took over for Dodge, so Nichols got cut out. But I'm not super knowledgeable on that topic. All I know is I want myself a Nichols lookalike dash that's going to be wood grain. So I'm gonna go down to the hardware store after I get this thing cut out, fitted, and we're gonna make it look like a wood grain dash. Then we're gonna put the battery box in the car, and then I'm gonna stare at it and figure out what else I can do in the meantime. This is why I'm not big YouTube star. I forgot to turn the camera on. But it's cut out anyways. minor setback, but it's not a big deal. I've got plenty of room where I can rebend this. I forgot that the dash had a little bit of radius, but it's kind of flat in the middle. So all I've got to do is just rebend about 1.5 inches down. So a little bit of V there, a little bit of V there, and then my dash will sit flush. But before pulling it back out, I'm gonna go ahead and drill my bolt holes on the bottom, so that way it will be affixed to the bottom dash bar. There, see? Just flattened it out and rebent it with 1.1 inches down, so that way it'll add a little bit of curvature to it. So if you look from side to side, we got a little bit of droop on both sides. That way, hopefully it will match the arch of the dash frame. So we'll go ahead and put that on right now. Hey, I like it. See what it looks like once we get it all bolted down. Oh yeah, my vision is just coming alive. I know it's kind of a simple dash, like you'll see a lot of these YouTubers or these super fab guys that are really talented make like these elaborate sheet metal dashes, but this is race car. And if you look up what the dash of a Nichols chassis looked like in 1969, that was it. Simple. And when you're doing race car stuff, keep it simple, stupid. As a kid, this is one thing I really remember about Days of Thunder is, I always wondered what these things were as a kid, Clecos. So every time I use Clecos, I always have that thought, of Days of Thunder when they were assembling Cole Trickle's car. But look, we got it all Clecoed in place. I even got some support braces under the dash. So now I can actually rivet the whole thing together, but I don't want to permanently mount the dash frame in the car yet. Actually, it'll never be permanent. I'll be able to be removable. That's why I did it like this, and that's why I made my removable Earnhardt bar. I want to run some support braces to the factory pedal assembly before we get the dash frame all riveted in place. But I gotta go get some rivets. Eyes all out. What I'm gonna do right now is set my battery box right there, cut a square, so that way I can recess my battery box, and then I'm gonna put a strap underneath that so it'll bottom out on the strap, and then I can weld the whole thing together. And then that strap will also be the tie down bracket for the battery. So I'm gonna go ahead and hop back in the car right now. Why you always gotta be interrupting my scene?
Put your pants back on.
Hey, GoPro is rolling right now, so you gotta keep this PG-13.
So, that guy, he brought...
Hey, you want to see a magic trick? How did I do that? Bet you guys didn't know I could do magic, huh? Yeah, see, that'll go right there. Just making sure I can reach my switches. You know, because we got to get the proper angle of the dangle on the seat and the switches and my gauge scenery. You want to make sure I can see this, all the gauges right through the steering wheel. Because that's how I roll. But the car is actually coming out pretty good. I'm digging it. Like, I got my dash in it. Of course, I couldn't like mount the dash because I'm waiting on the vinyl wrap to make a wood grain. I'm waiting on my gauges, which my gauges are gonna be sweet. I can't wait to see these in the car. I have my switch panel, my gauges, put a charger emblem on the dash like the old Daytona. Oh, I can already envision my cockpit. I still got a lot to do, but I think it's gonna have to wait till the next episode. But just look back at everything that I've accomplished on this episode. I mean, we got the rear Vega plug in it, or I should rear Daytona plug in it. We got my trunk lid shortened. We got it hinged. I mean, this thing looks bitchin'. That's all in and done. I mean, look, because you mean speed and aerodynamics, huh, Bolt? Yep. There was a lot of work. I got my steering column done. I got my dash bar. So, I mean, there was a lot done to this car in this week's episode. So, I can only envision what it's going to look like in the next episode. Man, I hope you guys are digging this episode as much as I am. I mean, I love vintage race cars. Why? Because I kind of wish I was from that era. I mean, seeing these things race and how popular the dirt track, the short track, the asphalt, all of that was back in the day. There was no cell phones that people just could stare at. They actually had to go to the events to watch them. So the grandstands were just completely packed. It was, I don't know, to me, it was an awesome time to be a racer. Was 60s, 70s, 80s, even early 90s. So, I don't know, this just screams Americana race car to me. If you guys are digging it as much as I am, yo, hey, I've got Junkerup t-shirts. This one's got a little bit of miles on it though. I've been wearing out this thing. Under the car, inside the car, I've got some welding holes, burn holes in it. But, you know, check it out, you know. Pit crew. Yeah, I know, it's awkward. It's just awkward to kind of get a back shot, you know. I can't do it. Oh wait, hold on. I can figure this out. I can figure it out. Wait, give me a second. Ah, there we go. So if you want to be part of the team, go ahead and check it out on junkerupgarage.com. That's where we've got these shirts. I might even have a better modeling picture in there for you. But I'm gonna have to bounce out of this episode. It's dinner time, and I need my bead roller back. I let a buddy borrow it, so I'm gonna have to go pick it up tomorrow. That way I can start doing the trans tunnel, the rear firewall. There's a ton of sheet metal I've got to do to get this thing done, and to get it legal too. You know, so I don't know if I'm gonna completely seal the trunk up right now, because technically in the rules you're allowed to have the trunk open. I might have to take advantage of that right now just to save time. I'll fill it in later, but for right now, save time. But I'm gonna go ahead and leave you guys with, again, the beauty shots. Hey, thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate it. If you haven't liked or subscribed, please do that. And stay tuned for more of the Daytona Stock Car build. Part 4 coming up.